with Karen and Wendy from my 80s Boom Boom podcast, and we're going to do Name That Boom Boom for you again now. So I'm going to read out some lyrics. Well, not read, sing them if you want. Whatever you want to do. So it's 80s lyrics. You just got to guess what they are. So I'll start. Right. The number one is, you ready? I've been holding out on you. I've been taking it slow and tough because you've got a reputation for leaving when the loving gets rough. You might not get this one, you know, because I was just thinking when I did it. It is an 80s song, but it's a group.
It's not a Madonna one, is it?
No. I don't mind.
Get going when
I don't mind have a little sing.
Go on then.
I love this group. You'll know there's 5 of them. It's got I've been holding out on you. I've been taking it slow and tough. You won't know what it's called.
I think that's making it worse.
It's 5-star. We can't wait another minute.
I would never have got it.
I wouldn't have got it.
I just thought, unless you don't know them, you know what I mean? Right, I'll do number 2, the second one. Come on, ladies. Come on. Right, it's come on, shine your heavenly body tonight, because I know you're going to make everything all right. I'll say it again. Come on, shine your heavenly body tonight. You just said it before when you thought it was.
I'm not sure you're making it worse.
Because I know you're going to make everything all right.
Oh, that's that Madonna. Oh, yes.
Go on, Jump. I'll make it worse singing.
You do? No, hang on. I can't think.
It's called You Might Be My Lucky Star. Lucky Star, Madonna.
Bright.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I know the song, but I can't think of what it's actually called. Because sometimes they're called something different to what the lyrics are.
It was that one. Yeah, they just look completely different, don't they, when you do? And I thought that was the song, but it's not. Right, you should get this one. If you don't get this, ladies, come on, ready?
We're leaving.
You'll get it as soon as I say the first bit. And if I only could, I'd make a deal with God.
Oh, that is Running Up the Hill.
Running Up the Hill, Kate Bush.
Kate Bush. Love Kate Bush.
Do you know what? That is an absolute classic song, isn't it?
Isn't it?
And when
she's my husband's.
I can't. She's She. You know what? And when it was in that 80s program, what was it? Strange.
They get your babushka outfit out then, Wendy.
Babushka, babushka, babushka.
Shall I show you the picture?
Go on then. I'm glad this is going on sound and not video.
It's both at the minute, so I might use some of the video as. Can
you get that picture for me? The one that you painted.
Good job I can edit this, ain't it?
Can you just get me that picture off the wall that you painted with the eagle in your Kate Bush days?
I might do that.
Might have to, if you do put it on, you might have to blur one bit out because there's a little bit of.
Don't worry, it's only audio anyway.
It's not Kate Bush, but I think he's based it on Kate Bush.
Oh, did he put that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think that's you.
So good.
I think that's you. I think that's the blonde locks.
No, when he drew me from the side and the back.
Well, like the Titanic where we were lying down with just a necklace on, was it?
Take me like one of your French girls wearing.
Me like babushka, please.
Sorry about that, guys. It's the only opportunity I've ever had to just show that picture because it was his Kate Bush day, and I said, that's Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Right, come on, number 4, you ready?
Go on then.
I've got to take a little time to think things over. I better read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. What?
In my
Yay!
there's no heartache and pain.
Absolutely. Foreigner, what love is. I can't believe that was 1984, you know.
That's probably been remade a few times as well.
I couldn't believe it was that long ago, 84. I did think it was.
Is it really?
I think it's because it's been remade so many times that you think it's a lot more newer than it is. But yeah,
it's been done in duets.
Right, number 5. You should get this one. I didn't realise this was an 80s song. I have to be honest. It was right at the end, and I thought it was a bit of a 90s song, but it's not. It's an 80s song. Right.
That was my cat. Sorry.
I'm heading down the Atlanta highway, looking for the love getaway. Heading for
Love
the
Shack.
love getaway. Yeah,
Love
absolutely. Love Shack, baby.
Baby Love Shack, baby Love Shack.
I really thought that was. I thought that was a 90s song. I didn't realise that was an 89 one. Really bizarre. Right, number 6. You ready? You might. All the old paintings on the tomb. They do the sand dance. Don't you know?
Oh, Walk Like an Egyptian.
Well done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well done.
When I put that in, because I didn't put too much in there, I thought, I'm not sure they're going to get. I'm well impressed.
Well done, Karen.
All right, number 7. You should get this one as well. I picked this bit because I like this. I idolize this person. So, but say a prayer. Pray for the other ones. At Christmas time.
Oh, it's Band-Aid. Band-Aid.
Do you know what? I love when I see the Band-Aid, I forgot how you listen to that because that's been made quite a few times, isn't it? And I just think, I personally think the first and probably the
first one was amazing.
And the second one with Kylie was all right. It was similar, wasn't it? It was on the similar theme tune, but then it just
and also the first one, it wasn't just really high class, high end singers. They were just because they had Marilyn.
Yeah.
Some people that weren't really kind of up there. They had, people that were just, I don't know what you call them in the pop world, but then they're the most popular ones and the most. It had a massive range from Elton John right down to,
absolutely. Yeah, they had like different people, didn't they? Just didn't have.
Yeah, it was nice. Good.
And watching the video as well the other day when I was doing the research, it was just.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I remember watching that Band-Aid.
You see a lot of people that are not here anymore, which is a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's sad when you see them.
Yeah. Status Quo were in that one, I think.
You what? Sorry, Karen.
Status Quo were in that as well, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
No, they lived just up the road from me.
They opened Live Aid, didn't they? Status Quo.
Yeah.
So right, that's that done. Right, so we're going to talk about one of them is going to be fashion, is it? Now I have to be. I probably wasn't the most fashionable in the 80s, if I'm really honest. But I'd like to. So what fashion? Go on. I'll start with you, Wendy. Is you're at the top. What's your fashion stuff that you used to? Go on.
I've gone through some old photographs.
Oh.
I've written them down.
Go on.
So. In the 80s, obviously I was 18, so mother and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I love the denim dungarees.
On denim.
And the denim jackets, which I still have denim jackets now. Then if I was going out on a night, I would always wear the suits like Dallas and Dynasty with the big shoulder pads.
The big massive.
Yeah.
Really?
Big massive shoulder pads and the tight waist with the. It wasn't leather. It was
like
black belt.
The big belts that went, and they clipped, didn't they? Didn't they have the 3 clips, and you just
the 3 clips, a bit like a nurse's belt.
Yes,
like a.
Yeah, because they used to be massive.
But it went up, didn't it?
They used to have big belts that used to go around the whole of someone's waist. Then used to have them.
Because I seen some photos, and I think, they look really nice back in the day.
But they went up, didn't they, into your sort of breastbone and
they kept right up.
They pulled you in.
Yeah, if you went out on a night out, you would have thought you were in Dallas or Dynasty.
I mean, you might not have been able to breathe.
Your hair was like
you look hot.
Yeah, your hair was like.
I always think with the 80s, especially fashion, when people go out, it's like nowadays when people go out and they've been out They've straightened their hair, they've gone out, they've straightened their hair, they've gone out looking like someone, and they come back all this curly hair. But in the 80s, that's what it was like.
The bigger the better.
Comb, it'd be under an inch of its life,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well, so I got the curly perms, so that it was the curls used to come out. Went through a nice curl. Then, as the 80s went further in, it went Di Barlow.
Oh, well, can I just say something? Talking about perms, I think Karen should tell us about hers that she told me on my first ever podcast I did about your mum and your perm.
My mum had decided that it was the in thing for us to have this perm, and it wasn't even in a hairdresser's. It was round some woman's house.
I used to do them.
Did you?
Oh, she was putting all the little curlers in and everything, put the lotion on, then put this thing over our heads, and then we had the dryers that had a big tube on it, and anyway, and I kept sitting there saying to my mum, this is hurting, like it's getting really painful now. Mum was like, it's normal, you'll be fine. I was like, but it's like burning my scalp. I was like, it's really hurting. So in the end, I said to this woman, I'm really sorry, but can you take them off because I'm in pain? So she's taken them all out, dries it. Well, these curls were so tight on my head. And it was literally like just round like this. It didn't matter what I did. If I pulled them like that, they went ping.
You'll have been like one of them pan scrubbers, them little tight pan scrubbers.
I was mortified. I got home, because they say to you when you have one, don't they, don't wash your hair for a few days? No, I was straight in that shower. I was literally trying to wash the perm out.
Did it come straight out? Because they say if you wash it straight away, it ruins it.
It didn't straight away. It was a little bit better, but it was still quite tight. But what I then did was I started buying these like gels to make it look like the wet look. It was like made it a bit wetter and pulled down, but I could have died. I kept saying to my mum, I can't actually go out in public.
You had them combs with the just went.
Oh, I used to have the afro. Obviously, because I've got curly hair, I used to have them afros, and I used to have that that wet look gel that you used to get. You used to make it on gel, and then you wonder why you had spots all around the front of your head because you'd literally. And I used to have an afro comb, and it was that high. I'm sure birds used to chase me for some sort of like nesting material. It was
that first one come round like that.
Really?
Like, it literally come round like a halo. My first perm was like that.
But then they started calling them like a shaggy perm, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they loosened them up a bit, and they were a little bit like Bonnie Tyler.
Yeah.
So Bonnie Tyler, she suddenly had this lovely curly hair, and Whitney, I know she had it anyway, but she had the lovely curly hair. And who else was there? There was another one. I can't remember her name.
Naturally lovely curly hair. Mine was just to frazzle. I used to get called Air Bear Bunch as a child. I mean, how spiteful is that?
Well, I used to get called Deirdre Bar.
I did actually when I was younger.
Big glasses.
Yeah, I keep thinking, because in the 80s,
because the glasses were bigger as well, weren't they?
Time, wasn't it? It's like in the 80s. Yeah, I forgot the combination sheet's been out for years. Oh, God, a long time before that.
Years, yeah.
That's not a compliment, 60s. Yeah. No one's complimenting you when they're calling you Deirdre Barlow.
No.
Not when she's at
Yes. And what fashion tips could you tell us about the 80s? What like other clothes? Because I have to be honest, all I remember is, I've mentioned it before, I need to let this go a little bit. I can remember having an Arrington jacket as a kid, and it was like, I don't know if you know what they are. They were just like, you used to have a black jacket or a red jacket, and you used to have your name written on the back. And my mum eventually got me one after going on and on and on and on and on. But she wouldn't let me have the name put on the back. Okay, why? And it's what, do you know what? We came from a really, it's a rough council estate, but we grew up in there. And I can always remember saying to my mum what my name was. And the first thing she said to me, if you have your name on it, you'll look council. Okay, do you know what? You just think to yourself, I just looked at her and went, where do you think we live?
Well, she sounds just like my mum. My
She
mum
just
was
went-
exactly the same.
And it was like the Kaplunk game, not the Kaplunk, the mouse trap. She wouldn't let me have the mouse trap because she said you'll be bored after 2 minutes.
My mum used to answer the phone and be like Hyacinth Bouquet until she realised who it was on the phone. So she would answer our phone at home because obviously they were the ones that plugged in and you didn't have ones that you walked around with. And she'd just pick up and go, hello,
And then go in.
32454. And then as soon as she knew who it was and it was a mate, she'd go, oh, hello.
Yeah.
I used to make, we always laugh at that because when we were growing up, it's because my mum used to do that. She'd pick the phone, she'd get hello, and then as soon as she knew what, her voice would come, and it just looked, think, why have you just put that voice on? You sound
I
nothing
almost
like
expected her to go, lady of the house speaking.
that. Mrs. Bouquet.
Yeah, she had a telephone
fashion for me
voice.
is because, and I think because I was like, I think I was about when I got to like 83, 84, I was like 14, 15. So I always remember like, because you used to wear skin tight jeans. Now I just think to myself, I'd never be, well, you wouldn't get me, I couldn't get in them or get out of them, to be fair. But I always remember being really fitted until the 501 jeans came out that, amazing that Cayman did. It was they were fitted, weren't they? Women, you know.
I know, they were really tight.
Yeah.
Really
and I just think to myself, one cough, and I'm going to lose both of them. But I'm going to go.
Well, I'll tell you now, I had a pair.
Shell suits.
Oh no! Oh,
You know what? I did have a shell. I can remember having one of them Kappa one. Was it a Kappa one? Yeah, it must be. I think it was a Kappa one. But they were so sweater that when you put it, you could not. We went. I mean, this is going off top. I went to a shop today. I was going to get an 80s one for my 80s live. And there was an old 80s, and it was all the 80s colours and everything. And I put it on. I thought, no, because if I do an 80s chat with that, I will be on the floor like a snowman.
Plus, it always reminds me of the less desirable people in the world.
That should have been why I wore one, because where I came from. I remember having one, and they used to absolutely make you sweat like anything, didn't they? They would just... And you'd do it up, and then you'd have the shell, and the shell suits you'd have it. And they used to be, you'd go out in the rain, and between the rain and you sweating, you'd come in absolutely drenched. I loved it.
Well, I used to
cross the road, Karen.
You would cross the road if I'd have walked past you with my Kappa shell suit.
Yeah, I avoided them like the plague. But talking about sweating, Greece, when that first come out, sort of 79, 80, I had a pair of Olivia Newton-John leather trousers.
Yeah.
And I had to put talcum powder down there and lie on the bed. And my friends had to pull
climbing on top of you
up, and I had to breathe in so they could get the button done up, and then I would roll off the bed until my legs were on the floor, and then she would pull me up.
Oh my! How did you walk?
Like Barbie.
Like you pooed yourself. Like literally. I mean, they stretched a bit, but I mean, in those days, I mean, you know, prior to kids, I could possibly go all night without going to toilet. I'd be quite happy to go all night, and I'd wait till I got home.
Well, you'd have to with them sandy pants.
Strong.
I mean, they're quite clean anyway, so if you weed yourself, you could have just
couldn't get them off. And when I took them off, and I was small when I was younger. I was like size 8, but when I took them off at night to get them off, I had to roll, like almost just roll like a sausage skin to get them off. And all around my waist was this massive red indent in my waist.
But that's good for you now, because they tell you to wear stuff like that, don't they, to make you sweat so you lose weight. So wearing your sandy pants in the 80s would have been brilliant.
But I had them with a pair of with a top that was cream with one arm, and the other bit came under my arm, and it had 3 black stars on it going up like.
Everything was tight, wasn't it?
I thought it was gorgeous.
Everything was tight. I always remember in the 80s, everything was fitted or tight. I mean, you used to have some of the baggy stuff, like you used to have all them like leg warmers, didn't you? Everything was fitted. And I always just think, do you know what? I don't think I used to. I mean, I quite like. I don't wear it now. It's like fitted stuff when I was younger, but not now. But yeah, everything in the 80s was fitted,
Fitted
wasn't it?
t-shirts.
And you used to, and like you were saying about having to look like that bottle bear, that was brilliant. When you had to walk because they and women used to wear them. I used
And a
to.
lot with wedges as well.
Yeah, I used to always remember when I was about, oh God, it's about 82, 83, I used to see the girls going past where, because I was only like younger then, going past the house, going out like to the local pub or club. And I think how do they walk? I mean, some of them used to walk bandy-legged.
And dance.
Yeah.
In
How
high
did you
heels.
dance?
Yeah, I
Around
used
your
to dance
handbag?
in wedges. I used to
Was
run
it
in
round your
wedges.
handbag, weren't it? Actually,
Didn't sit down.
that used to
Don't sit down.
fascinate
You
me.
can't get up again.
Honestly, that really used to fascinate me when you used to see the girls, because when I can remember, I used to watch it on the telly as a kid growing up, and you used to think they don't do that. But when I eventually went out when I was young, and they did, they always dance.
It was the truth. It was the
Why
truth.
was
Yes.
that?
I think because it's easier to dance without a bag hanging off your shoulder, and the only safe place to put your bag at the time was in the middle where everyone could see them, rather than leave them at your seat, because you didn't want anyone sort of getting into your purse or anything. So you didn't want, if you were moving around, you didn't want a bag swinging around. So you put them in the middle, all round.
You took everything out but the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
I can always remember going out with one of my friends when I was about 17, 18, and she took her, well, I mean, it was a bag was a bit like Mary Poppins' bag, because it was this tiny little bag. She got everything. I've never seen anything. I said to her, what else is, how do you get that in there? Because it was like she got everything in there. She was just putting them out. I went, the bag's tiny.
I know. Yeah, you had everything. I even had my mum bought me when I started going out in the 80s, like Wendy was 18, she bought me a stun gun thing, like an alarm. It was an alarm thing that it made a siren noise if someone was to come and attack you. You pressed it, and it made this really high pitched sound, and you aimed it at like Mace. It was just, but I wasn't allowed out if I didn't have that in my bag.
Oh.
I had to have it in my bag. Yeah.
Pepper spray.
Yeah, which you're not allowed.
It wasn't a pepper spray. It was a siren. So if you faced it towards whoever it was that was having a go, mind you, if someone's trying to attack you, you've got to get your hand in your bag
and just say, "Can you turn around and face me, please, before I spray you?"
By this time, you're on the floor. But you press the top, and it let off a really high pitched shriek. It used to deafen you if it was aimed at you.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And when you think about it, though, and it was safer then, though, really, wasn't it, than it is now? Which is really bizarre.
I think it was around about, when was it? When did the Yorkshire Ripper come out?
That was the 80s.
Yeah,
and I remember that
was
a
around
lot.
that time.
Yeah.
And my mum, I mean, we lived in the south of England, and it was like, for some reason, my mum thought, Ripper, right, you need an alarm. I
think all people did, because I remember, I mean, we lived in the Midlands, which was nowhere, it was Yorkshire, wasn't it? But it was like, everybody was just fanatical, wasn't it? Yeah. Like telling lock your doors or not to go out at night. And at the time, when you're growing up, when I was like 10, 12, you didn't really know your geography whereabouts. You know what I mean, where Yorkshire was or anything like that. But now I think to myself, Jesus, was she mad? Do you know what I mean? We didn't live nowhere near it. It used to scare my sisters to death.
So did you ever follow, changing the subject a bit, but with fashion, but did you ever follow any trends like when people used to wear the chains on their jeans and stuff like that?
I'll tell you what I did, and I couldn't do it as much as I wanted to do it. I can remember it, I don't know, was it when was the flat tops out? I can't remember. Was that like 90s or 80s? But when you used to have the 80s styles, because my hair was so curly, that's the only thing that used to drive me up the wall, because I couldn't style my hair. So when all the lads, no, it wasn't. I can't remember what one of the styles. There was a style that was out in the 80s, and I can't remember what it was. And everyone was having it at school, and I couldn't, because I just had. And at the time, they weren't. I mean, nowadays you can style. I mean, you can style curly hair however you want. But in the 80s, it wasn't known, especially not for men anyway. I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Didn't put your head on the ironing board then.
Yeah, yeah. But my sister used to do that, straighten down an ironing board because she got waviest hair. But yeah, I never in the 80s. I never could follow them sort of like 80s trends that the lads used to have at school. I just had this hair. I just had this, as they used to call it, hair bear bunch hair that was just a lot of hair. And it weren't until later on that I started to have the sides cut, and then you had all the styles coming, so I could do it. But like, what about 80s shoes? That's what I always remember. With my mum and my sisters used to have these, and they were luminous because everything was luminous, wasn't it? Everything was, well, not luminous, neon. And I always remember, I can't remember what shoes they were, but they looked like high heels, but they weren't. But they were like, I always used to think she got lights in them because they were that illuminated. But I can't remember much of the shoes that are out in the 80s. Can you, Wendy or Karen? I can't.
Well, for women, I think the wedges never really went out. They stayed.
With the strings up the legs.
Yeah, they sort of stayed for a long time. They were originally from the 70s, I think, but they tended to last quite a long time, as did the miniskirt. Lasted quite a bit of time.
And the stilettos.
Stilettos. Even now, and it's like, I know people, it's like stilettos, and I mean, you walk like that, don't they?
Oh,
not
yeah.
Terrible for your feet.
Yeah, really bad.
But I always remember my sister's, not my sister, my mum's friends, because my mum was quite young when she had me. She was, so she was still in her 30s when I was like 10. You know what I mean? She was still quite young. When they used to go out, and they miniskirt.
Oh yeah,
I know they were a 70s thing, but they were out in the 80s. I absolutely remember them. And all I used to think to myself,
skirt.
Yes, the raw skirt. I remember the raw. I remember the miniskirt, and all I remember for the miniskirt was, as a kid growing up, and they'd come around and go out for drinks, but please don't bend down, because you could see what someone had for breakfast if they bent down. It was just Jesus Christ.
I know.
The raw skirt was just amazing, wasn't it? For the 80s, it was.
I had one in every colour.
Yeah, it was like
every colour.
Did they have it in it? Did there?
Yeah, I had luminous ones. They was literally like a glorified tutu, really.
Yeah.
They were.
I like the fishtail skirts as well.
Oh, what were they?
Fishtail skirts are really smart.
Oh, were they quite pink? Were they Dynasty and Dallas would wear or something? Were they? Oh, God. All I remember from the 80s, especially like them sort of stuff, all I used to think was, how do they walk? Because everything was, like we said, about fitted, and especially women. And when you used to watch
pencil skirt.
What? Sorry.
You couldn't walk in a pencil skirt.
And you used to still going like that, and I thought, do you know, if anyone ever chased you, you'd never move. Yeah, you'd walk like Penelope Pipstop. You'd be dumb.
What are they called? The Japanese women.
And that's what it would be like, wouldn't it? It was like everything was just. And I always remember, and especially the mini skirts. All I remember with them, they left nothing to the imagination, did they? I mean, they looked amazing. When you see them now, and you see some of they were iconic. You think they look absolutely brilliant. But at the time when you're there and you see, you used to think, what are these women?
Oh, I tell you what else I had. I had a sailor dress.
Oh yes, I've got a photograph of me wearing one.
A sailor's dress.
So they were short, but they were tended to be stripy, and then these great big collars that went round this bit here. I mean, I looked awful in my mind.
Because everything was quite big and patterned as well in the 80s, wasn't it? You know, like you had like, and when they had a pattern on it, it literally went across the whole of your chest, and it wasn't like anything subtle in the corner. It was, I mean, there was nothing subtle about the fashion in the 80s. I mean,
a PVC leather look ruched dress that all ruched up in the middle, and that was up to my bum.
No, but when you but in the time you loved them, they wore them. You know, now you just think to yourself, "Oh my God!"
It's just
like you said.
Couldn't get one leg in it now.
No, see, I said that the other day. I couldn't. I got an 80s top that I brought, and I shrunk it in the washing machine, and it wouldn't even fit a 10-year-old. So that's had to go in the bin.
Well, I mean, as well, I had the top half of my figure was decent enough to put in nice dresses, but and he's bolstering now.
When you get older, though, it's life, isn't it?